Hey, everybody, welcome back. I hope you're enjoying Mainframe Comic Con. We're in the final hour of day one, and I hope you've enjoyed some of the incredible, entertaining panels we've had, and this one will be no exception. John Sutras here from the Word Balloon Podcast, and really happy to do this panel look at Inside or Out, a tremendous and Insider Art, excuse me. Boy, I'll tell you, you can tell it's the end of the day. A great anthology featuring comics, puzzles, games, recipes, a true full house experience. And joining us to talk about this, two of the great editors that put this incredible anthology together. Here's Chris Simon. Chris, it's a pleasure to meet you. Welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here.
And our returning champion, she's got the book. There she did. It's
John.
Everybody, good to see you, Shel.
I forgot my name. I've only been on your Word Balloon podcast twice. And I was a special guest at John Con, and you forget my name.
No, you're a co-host at this point, Shel. I have to start sending you money. Don't kid yourself.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Just send
Absolutely.
the checks in the mail.
Absolutely. So we're talking about Inside or Out, and Shel, you got the props ready for us, which is fantastic.
I do. Oh, yes, I do. Product placement shots just for you, John.
It looks great, and really, this again, it's such a tremendous book because you've all curated this incredible collection of great cartoonists, great writers, and they really went to town. And it's appropriate that this was put together. I mean, Shel, was the inspiration because of COVID? I mean, was it because of that?
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. It was mostly because of COVID. And a couple months back, I realized we were going to go through the same general malaise and vitriol that we all experienced when we survived the outcome of the 2016 presidential election. And so I looked around on Twitter and social media, and I saw people just grumbling and shouting, and I just knew we had to come together once again. And where else but put all of our amazing energy and emotions into a comic book, and especially an anthology. And so, yeah, I reached out to Jen King, who was our retailer liaison, and 7 other editors, including Chris Simon, who were fearless enough to take me up on the offer. It was basically, I came up with the idea of an art house. And within this house, there were 8 rooms, and each editor was asked to edit her own room. And that meant that there were very few rules. Just go out, bring in the goods, find the most amazing writers and artists and colorists and letterers, and have at it, and bring us the best in comics, prose, single illustration, games, and of course, cats.
Lots of cats. Absolutely. Yes. So, Chris, which room were you in charge of?
I'm in charge of the kitchen. So, yeah, which I volunteered for. I know there was some editors who kind of had to pick what was left, but when Shelley reached out, I immediately snatched up kitchen so that I could share all of my awesome recipes and gather in all the people I knew who love to cook and do crafts in the kitchen and stuff, and make it something really special. I was super excited to do this.
Better Chris than me in the kitchen, because I'm a disaster.
Really?
John, what about you, John?
I'm a killer in there. You know, I come from restaurant people. I'm a Greek guy. So that was kind of part of the deal. You had to learn how to cook. And Dad had us in the kitchen at 12 years old. So, no, I'm all right, actually. But it's great, Chris. I actually have pages ready. I'll share the screen here in just a second and share some of the great art that we've got. From the kitchen specifically. Let me see. There it is. And so I'm going to share. There we go. So I don't know if you, Alec, if you want to isolate me, if you haven't already. And we've got recipes for egg pasta and how to make a quiche. Outstanding. That's great. And that's Takio.
Akiyama. Yes. Yeah, she's great. She did several pages in there. And those are her characters that are actually based on her band. She has a real life band. And so
that's great.
Yeah, super cute.
And Kitchen Witch, that's awesome. And that Janet Lee, is that Janet Lee who did that great book with Jim McCann, right? Isn't that Janet Lee or no?
I don't know. Is that the same one, Shelley? You know.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe a different Janet Lee. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. This is Janet K. Lee, and this story, which is amazing, is by
Gilly. Yeah.
And of course, you can see we have cats all over the place.
Yes.
In fact, you can even do your own counting game because there are so many cats on each and every page. John, you're flipping through quickly.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. We're hoping to go through and just point out some of the really cool features.
Do you want me to start at the top again, Shel?
Let's start at the top.
Okay, beautiful cover, of course.
So yeah, let me talk to you a little bit about the cover. So we have this tremendous logo by Sophie Dodgson, who you may or may not know has been taking the comic industry by storm. She is the colorist on Bitter Root, which is a book that just won the Best Continuing Series Eisner this year. And Sophie is such an integral team member. Sanford Green brought her into Bitter Root. And as soon as I put my eyes on her glorious pages, I knew we had to pull her away and get her very involved in insider art. So not only is she the editor of the craft room, which is a lot of fun, she designed the logo, and she also designed and put together the cover. So what you're seeing is this beautiful montage of choice panels from.
Didn't she also do the website? She did our website, right?
She did. She also did our website. And John, before we go any further, I do want to hold up the book because while we have this available on Gumroad, I want people to understand that Insider Art was a labor of love. Everyone who contributed, and there were 142 people, they donated their time, and all proceeds from Insider Art, available digitally on Gumroad, will support female and non-binary comic book retailers. So when you go to Gumroad, it's going to say suggested donation of $10, pay whatever you'd like, and this is what you get. It's hard to understand the scope, which is why I actually put together just a few copies like you see here. But it was necessary. We wanted a product shop because it's very easy to miscalculate what you're getting for your money when you're buying something digitally. And this is just chock full of the goods.
Agreed. Absolutely. And again, focusing on various rooms inside the Insider Art house. And here, I'm going to go back to scrolling now. And let's see here. This first story is by Sarah Gordon, Idle Hands.
Yes, it is, in fact. And this room, the bedroom, which we should stress right now, it's an all ages compendium. So this is a bedroom of fun and games. Nothing fishy, John. Don't even go there.
I won't go there.
This is an all ages compendium. So Chrissy Williams, who is not only a terrific editor, but she's also a poet. She not only edited this section and curated it beautifully with so many of rising star and superb British artists, I might add. One of the things that I love about the book is that the outreach was tremendous. I mean, this is really a cross-section of the best of the artists and writers across the globe. So I was saying to people, if you want to impress your boss and you're a comic book assistant editor or associate editor, this is it. This is how you do it in one fell swoop, $10. I mean, that's the price of like a cappuccino. Come on,
sure.
Be real. And you're helping support an overlooked demographic. As you guys know, when COVID hit, we saw a lot of people doing kind things to raise money for others, and that's great. But I didn't see anything that was specifically devoted to female and non-binary comic book retailers. So I knew we had to come together and do it. And the people, I want to take this moment to thank all 142 people who were behind the scenes, who gave us their time and delivered in under 3 months, which is almost impossible.
Yeah.
Right? You give this to a corporate suit and it would take them 2 years. And I would know.
Yeah. Suit.
Speaking of suit, where's your hat?
Yeah, I know, buddy. I'm like, I'm like the juggler that's spinning plates on Ed Sullivan. Seriously, it was a crazy day. So I'm sorry.
I'm going to have to take a point off your rating already.
I understand. I understand.
It's 97 degrees in Los Angeles right now, and I'm prepared I've got my pin, and you forgot your hat.
Buddy, and my Insider Art pin. I know I suck. I'm always in. If there's a doghouse in the Insider Out house, I would be in it, and the cats would be yelling at me.
And you are, and we might not let you out, but we better continue because we know we're going to have to take 45 minutes here.
Okay.
What we're looking at, if you scroll back just for a minute, I wanted to point out this amazing prose story by Angela Cleland and artist Stephanie Hans, who you all might know from Kieran Gillen's book Die, where Stephanie is also the co-creator. Amazing comic book. What we wanted to do with Insider Art was create a compendium that pretty much had everything. I mean, of course it has comics, but it also has some other features that you're not used to seeing in comic books, graphic novels, or even comics magazines. So as we scroll through, I think we'll point those things out because I think you're going to really love it, John.
Absolutely. I already have loved it. Absolutely. And now we're in the basement, just like the B-52s.
I was going to say, all right, you just got yourself back up to a 1-point rating. You're out of the doghouse for the next minute.
I know who I'm talking to. Absolutely.
Right? Exactly. This is a tremendous piece of artwork. Basically, the basement was co-edited by our two ingenue editors, Elizabeth Bree and Megan Brown. And I worked with both of these talented women when I was at IDW working on Black Crown. And they were quick to jump in and they said, hey, we've got a day job, but we can do it together. So we said, have at it. And they brought in such cool people to work in their chapter and their section. So this is a piece of art by Kayla Klein. And the best thing of all is this is just the chapter heading of the piece. So you've got a cat, a bit trepidatious, walking down the stairs.
Yep.
The exit out of this chapter, which we don't see here, but you're going to have to trust me on it.
Okay.
It's the cat racing back up the stairs because the cat is scared shitless. So.
Well, sure. Look at all this creepy stuff under the stairs. My aunt and uncle had a basement like this. I totally understand this.
Now, did you hide down there or were you relegated down there?
Both. It was great. It was great for hide and seek, but also as a small kid, it used to scare the hell out of me if the lights were out. Because, yeah, God only knew what kind of creatures much like depicted here were roaming around this basement. So I understand. I get it. Poor cat. Jesus.
Hey, actually, while we're scrolling through, let me just say that Elizabeth and Megan are the editors who work on the Glow comic for IDW.
Awesome.
They actually invited their writers, who I'm sure you know as the great actresses from the show. And they actually wrote a story that was called Glow in the Dark. Which was apt, of course. So Amy Garcia and AJ Mendez did a terrific job. So their story's in here too. But what we have here is a story actually that's by Sam Maggs, Sweeney Boo, and Hallie Rose Lyon about Dungeons and Dragons. Right? You can't have a compendium that's meant for all ages to support female and non-binary comic book retailers without a D&D salute.
Yeah.
That's gorgeous, man. Absolutely. Hilarious. So very cool. And then now another story, Chop Till You Drop. And, I can relate to this because although I'm due for another haircut, my bangs were growing past my nose. And I had to do this exact move as we see in the first panel in Chop Till You Drop.
Well, this is actually part of the bathroom section. And again, I can't tell a lie. I have a terrible poker face, but when Nicole Booth signed on to work with us, she was an editor at Marvel many years ago, and she was excited to get back in the editing game. She came in at the tail end, so we say she drew the last straw because most of us really wanted to avoid the bathroom for all the obvious reasons. And there was this running joke among editors that if left in the wrong hands, as in someone who is neither female nor non-binary, this section would be all fart jokes. And John, I dare you to deny that.
I'm waving to the camera. Absolutely, Shell. You're right. That would have been my first reflex. Absolutely.
But Nicole, actually, she told me that she was a little disappointed at first, but she certainly turned it around. And I think this is one of the best sections. She turned it into a place to go for relaxation and rejuvenation. So what you're seeing here is something that, Chris, you were saying everybody has been faced with this at some point.
Absolutely. Right? Everybody's had to cut their hair in the bathroom during this quarantine. So this is very relatable.
And
even guys.
It's by MJ Kremer, who's a great writer, and Lindsay J. Bryan, who is a terrific illustrator. She also illustrates greeting cards. And I just want to give her a shout out because she did such a great job on this story and has just been like so many of the other young, talented women who donated their time and then also help us promote. I think the promoting part is critical to continuing to raise money. When we started this project, we knew we wanted to do a digital compendium because at the time we weren't even sure if printers were going to be up and running.
Absolutely.
In the summer. So we were pretty sure we wanted to do it digitally, but we wanted to make the whole project a 3-prong initiative. So in addition to the Gumroad digital anthology, we had an eBay auction, which is still ongoing through Jen King's Facebook comic book shopping network. And I want to shout out to them as well and to all the wonderful people who donated just not only things from like their own archives. I mean, I did a little excavation of my garage and found a few Sandman statues that didn't need to live in Los Angeles anymore. So we had people donate all kinds of things. And I had some signed art prints from the Hey Amateur Project. So major shout out to Jen and all the people that helped us. We raised a few $1,000s just from that eBay auction. And of course, we have a Spoonflower print that's going to be going up on their site very, very soon.
The hell's a Spoonflower print? Help me out, buddy. There you go. Oh, can we get a close-up of that, Alec?
We can. We
Lovely.
shall.
Fantastic.
Yeah. There's like several.
Here's the cool thing about.
Oh, and Chris has one too. Let's zoom in on Chris.
Mm-hmm.
Outstanding. That's great.
Chris was actually making some coasters. Chris, is that a large coaster for your extra large cocktail?
It is for a large mug.
Okay.
Fair enough.
There we
mug
go.
Of tea. There we go. One of the great things about insider art, and this is tricky, and again, bad poker face, I only speak truths and half truths to you, John. But at the start of this project, I knew there would be people who were not pencils down. There were a lot of people scrambling for work. There were a lot of artists and writers who were way too busy. So I came up with this approach called Just One Cat. Now, as a Cure fan, you're going to tell me that was a cross between Just One Kiss and the Love Cats.
I wouldn't have gotten that. I must confess.
-2 points for John.
I'm back.
Jelly. And basically, I would say to people, we'd love for you to donate. Please pitch us a story. If you don't have time, how about sending us just one cat? And so we would have people who were incredibly generous, and they would just draw a cat on a 4x4 piece of board. And not only do we run the cats within the book, but we also got to auction many of them off on Jen's Facebook comic shopping network site. And
amazing.
I'm looking around because Chris and I actually almost got into a tussle over one cat in particular.
True.
Mine jumped to the floor. So Chris, is yours handy?
It is.
Oh, let's zoom in on Chris for a second.
You see that?
Beautiful.
A wonderful British artist named Jade Perkin not only worked on a 4-page story for Chris, I think.
Yes. About pickling.
Wow.
Yeah.
So John, when you want to impress your relatives and prove to them that you can still cook, we've got a pickling recipe for you. But
I like it.
Jade was also kind enough to send us not 1, but 2 cats, which was a really good thing because that particular cat, everyone knew it was my favorite, but Chris didn't care. And she made it clear to everybody in the group she was going to bid on that cat anyway. So then I came back and I said, Chris, this cat is going to be on my introduction. So this cat needs to come home, needs to be a part of my house. And then Chris replied, I don't care. Too bad for you. I'm bidding on the cat. But sure enough, there were 2. So we both won.
Oh, very nice. Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Good solution.
There was no blood loss between us.
Seriously. Shell, you need a podcast, buddy. I swear to God, you kill me every time you're on.
No, that's what you're for.
It's my good. Then we'll make this a monthly ritual. There you go. We pretty much did June, July, and August, Shell. So yeah, there you go.
We did. We had a lot of fun with China Clugston Flores too.
And we've got an illustration of her garage band history that we'll get to. But tell us about this beautiful seaside thing. It doesn't seem to be inside the house. I'm confused.
Well, it may not be inside the house per se, but it's a magical realist piece that's inspired by the bathroom. Again, Nicole Boos, 5 stars. She actually takes the trophy. This is a piece that I love to pieces. It's about the writer Stephanie Nina. I'm going to say this correctly, Stephanie. If I mispronounce it, I apologize. Pizzarillos. She's a wonderful writer. She's a prose writer. She's been doing comics for the past few years. And she actually submitted this piece about her grandmother's bathroom and how whenever she went to her grandmother's bathroom, there were so many trinkets and so many things that inspired her time at the beach. And one of the other things, not that I want this to be all about me, but I was designing quite a few of the prose stories. And this piece really caught my eye. And I really felt it was worthy of a very New Yorker-esque layout. So it was very clean and bold and graphic. And I think so beautifully rendered by Ashley Riblet, who's a wonderful painter. So this is just another one of the features that you'll find in the bathroom section. Talk about chill at the beach, John. When was the last time you chilled at the beach?
Honestly, Shell, I'm waiting for them to reopen because I would love to swim. And I don't trust my gym to go back to the gym because Illinois keeps surging back up after flattening for a week or so. So I want them to reopen the beaches. And not only am I ready with my bathing suit, but also I purchased a wetsuit. So yes. So imagine a portly, why am I blanking on his name? A portly Keanu Reeves in Point Blank, as opposed to the slick surfing looking guy. But yeah,
only
man, because
only if you wear the hat. We need.
I got the cowl. Absolutely.
We need the scuba mask, the hat, and the Insider Art pin. Or you're back in the doghouse. Oh, you're back in the doghouse anyway.
I know. No, I'm stuck there. I understand. I totally understand. That's fantastic. Well, then, Chris, we got again these wonderful recipes for egg pasta and quiche. That's great. What other recipe? And we said pickling, obviously.
Yeah, there's pickling in there. There's also there's how to do a coffee press.
Oh, great.
Yeah, there's a ton of recipes in there that are really cool. And this one is how to make bread, actually, in case that wasn't clear. While meditating. It's like a meditational thing. So
that's great.
Chris got in
Go ahead, Michelle. Go ahead, Michelle.
No, I just wanted to say Chris got in a lot of trouble with her dad. Chris revealed the secret family recipe for apple cider pie. It's my fault, but she's still going to have to take the blame.
Wow. Excellent.
I didn't really get in trouble. It was more of a mock anger.
That's not what your dad told me. Oh my God. When you go home, when you go home to your high school bedroom, it is going to be now like a fisherman's workshop.
Oh, I'm afraid that ship has sailed. It's already an offer.
I was neglecting comments here, everybody. Comics Misexplained. Gotta love Shelley Bond. Next time, we need a Cats in Clash clothing. Absolutely.
I like that. I like your style, commenter. Comics Misexplained.
Absolutely. Yes. The Englishman in San Diego, Insider Art, one of the best things to come out this entire blank situation, and such a talented lineup. Completely agree. Shell, as always, you and Chris, you as well. You guys curated an incredible lineup of people to contribute to this book, and some of my favorite people in comics are represented in Insider Art. So, and Shelley, but you know,
and the UK powerhouse that is Lucy Sullivan and Converters.
Oh, you're freezing a little bit, Shell.
Always follows me. What's up?
You were freezing a little bit. I don't know your reception. We weren't getting every word. But
Oh,
you're giving praise to the Englishman in San Diego, Andy?
yes, I'm giving praise to Leonard, who is the Englishman in San Diego, and Taylor from Broken Frontier, who wears a hat like nobody's business for you when you decide to wear a hat.
I got to get ahead like
this. Came in and they recommended such terrific people from the small press arena in the UK, which is bustling and booming, I might add.
That's awesome.
Don't sleep on that, John. Don't
No.
sleep on that. Go to Broken Frontier. You got to check out today was Small Press Day. You have to see the tremendous coming out of there, young and old. It's not just like the kids out of art school.
Sure.
But I'm seeing like people really level up at 50.
Sounds good. That's great.
60s.
That's good to hear. Yeah, you're really, Shell, you might want to leave and come back as far as re-signing on because you're freezing a lot.
Okay.
So, yeah, if you would. And no worries, of course. Hey, look, I mean, please. It's all good. Yeah, well, Chris and I will hold court until then.
We can handle it.
So how do you bond with Shell beyond comics, Chris? What common interest do you have?
This is actually how I met Shelley. And, we'd met previously before, but, we didn't keep in touch or anything. And this project, we actually bonded on it, no pun intended. So we're working on some other stuff aside from Insider Art. And so, we work really well together. Yeah, we've been having a good time.
It's really, honestly, and as I've gotten to know Shell over the last couple of years and talking to other creators about her and stuff, I was just talking, again, not to name drop, but Ed Brubaker and I did an interview earlier this week. And he's like, Shelley is the one that had noticed my Low Life book, his indie comic back in the day. And so, really, Shelley was the one that got Ed into Vertigo and kind of helped start his mainstream career.
Is just spectacular. She's something else. I mean, I'll tell you, like, I admired her before I met her, and I was absolutely thrilled when I finally did get a chance. And she seemed so surprised, and I was like, oh my gosh, you've done all this amazing stuff. And she was like, what, really? Like, it's just, that's just who she is, but she's responsible for such a ton of people coming up in the industry. It's just been fantastic. And I've been working with her on another project. And she just manages to snag out these people, which I would normally just kind of pass by. But, she sees something in them and then she grooms them and she helps them to become better. She's a great mentor. I've been learning so much from her. So
I'm not surprised. And, Black Crown, her imprint at IDW, was really an ambitious thing. And I'm sorry that it didn't get more time because, God, when she put people like and I think it was Gabriel Hernandez and Teenie Howard on Assassinistas. I thought was a terrific book that cracked me up, and really again going back to her Vertigo days as well. All those earlier I was doing a panel with Axel Alonso, and I'm friends with Will Dennis. All the great Vertigo editors, honestly, and certainly Karen Berger and Joan Hilty come to mind as well. Great tastemakers. Yeah, and that's a serious trait in Shell that I really appreciate. And yes, she's just got that eye. And forever DC is very corporate with their editors, and they don't want editors to like reveal stories, so they really kind of keep them at arm's length from the press. And it used to drive me crazy. And Will is like the first one that I really bonded with. And I'm like, there's going to be a day when you're not working for Vertigo, and when that day comes, I expect a lot of stories. And he laughed about it. And Shelley was the same thing. Here she's back. So. All we were saying, Shell, were vicious things about you.
Of course you were. Of course. I expect no less from Chris.
No, truly, Shell, I was saying that you're and again, you continue to do it. And Chris was not giving us details, but teasing that there's an upcoming project that the two of you are working on. But really, I was talking to Axel earlier today on a panel, and Brubaker earlier this week, and he reminded me that you're the one that saw Low Life and said this guy should be at Vertigo.
I'm
Atta
a
girl.
comics
Yeah, you
reader.
did, right?
What can I say? You know, you can't stop me from reading comics. You just can't. You can try. Not
What
gonna
were
lie.
you? What when you were on JohnCon a couple of weeks ago when you were talking about being, was it a campfire girl? Is that what you were?
What?
When you were talking about being a camp and come on.
Oh. You're gonna take me back there? You're gonna take me back to camp when I was the littlest camper?
You're the
John,
lowest camper. Absolutely. I love
John,
that. That's
if we're
fantastic.
gonna go back there, I'm gonna have
Shell.
to John, I'm gonna have to ask you once again why you haven't delivered with Brian Ferry.
I
And you're gonna have to tell Chris this story.
it
And
would
you
be
just
my
set yourself up for it.
and the Mainframe Comic Con audience. Absolutely.
Please.
For years, Chris, I worked for 10 years at a rock station in Chicago, and it was the alternative rock station. And also at the sports station in town. And one night I was producing a sports show, and there was a knock
It's
at the
actually
back.
not that funny. Chris, I'm not sure. Is there someone behind John making a face? It's not that it's not that funny, but it's an important story. Sorry, go on, John.
Oh, no worries. All good. I want to make sure there wasn't an intruder or anything in the house. But yeah, it was one night I was producing a sports show, and there was a knock at our back door during a commercial, so I could answer the door. And I opened the door, and lo and behold, the Cary Grant of rock and roll from Roxy Music, Brian Ferry, is at the door. And yeah,
Just imagining it for the fourth time.
Jill loves that story. So
Yeah.
I love that story. You know, yeah.
Alley.
I only love that story because every time John is live with another guest, I'll write in a question and I'll say, John, did you give Brian Ferry my digits yet? And
If
he'll
only.
say no.
If only.
He won't even lie about it. He just says, no, I did not.
Ships that pass in the night. What can I say? I'm sorry. It was like, as I always make the comparison, Chris, it was like living in a Monkees episode, because really, like, Elvis Costello would come in studio and play a song, and Lyle Lovett and Robbie Robertson of the band, and all these incredible people. And maybe that's our cue to. I mean, we should. Do you want to go in order, Shell? Should we continue?
Sure.
So we've got Imagination here by Miriam Bloom.
Right. Now, this is the attic section.
Ooh.
Creepy attic. Now, Mariah Huner McCourt was supposed to be here today and unfortunately couldn't make it, but she did a great job curating the attic. As you can see, there's some really spooky stuff. And not only were there a number of great short stories, one of the coolest things Mariah did, which we didn't represent here, but if you pick up Insider Art, you will love this. She did a progression of color where she started her section in black and white, and she slowly added hues so that by the time we get to the section you're looking at, it's in full color, which I thought was a terrific way to show a crescendo, because it was also halfway through the book. Ooh. And we don't like books that sag in the middle, John. So she came up with this great idea, and I think it really helps elevate just the attention span, because this is the kind of book that you can enjoy in one sitting, or you can enjoy over a summer going back to camp. You know, I always, when I was the littlest camper in 1974 at Camp Pymere, I discovered David Bowie. Chris, this is another story that John Con fans and also Word Balloon fans know well, but that's where I discovered David Bowie. 1974, the camp counselors were putting their makeup on and Rebel Rebel was on the radio. So that explains everything. That's the story, John. He's silently laughing. It's his favorite story about me.
Truly.
Forget the Sandman, forget Fables, forget Brubaker. It's Camp Pymere, the littlest
and Rebel. Yeah.
Tap dancing on the stage. So anyway, I'm not going back there anymore, John. That was it. Until you deliver with Brian Ferry, there's no more.
All right, I'll do my best. Jesus.
But this attic section is great, you know, and like I said, this is the kind of book that you can read in dribs and drabs. There are 2-page stories. There are 8-page stories. There's something for everyone. And this prose story by Jody Hauser is terrific.
Yes.
Takes you right into her head and her past with her grandfather and her attic. And I want to give a shout out to Megan Hutchison, who is one of my favorite people in comics. She's my goth sister, and she did this great cat which I just want to say thanks again, Megan, you rock. And her cat also, actually, I think was the top seller in the auction. I have no idea who ended up buying it, but there was a bidding war. And I think it went for like almost $1,000.
Wow.
I could be lying about that. I'm going to just say I think it went for like something like that. But
I think it did too. I recall seeing it. Yeah.
It's a beautiful piece of art. Thank you to the person who actually won the eBay auction. Thank you, Megan, for donating and for being such a badass artist.
Here, here.
And Megan and I, sisters, LA sisters, come back home. It's really hot and sweaty here, and you would be very uncomfortable like the rest of us.
So now where are we? Mexican papel.
We are in the craft room.
Ah.
The great Sophie Dodgson was able to somehow convince, I think, maybe 25 people. Some of these are one-pagers. She really had a huge turnout of people. Give us the goods. On the left of your screen, you have an artist who I think is going to take over comics. She is such a powerhouse. Her name is Anna Pachalski. She goes by A.D. Pachalski. Not only is she an inventive storyteller, she is an exquisite painter. And she actually has a website where you can find Russian dolls that she paints.
Oh, wow.
So she had a collection of Alice in Wonderland dolls. And she also had a beautiful set of different rabbits, which I actually purchased for my stepmother-in-law. So when I tell you we have talented artists, many are cartoonists, some are zine makers and cartoonists, some are fine artists or painters. As you see here, we have Lauren Hull, who teaches you how to make your own 8-page zine.
Yes.
Which I am so happy zines are back. I mean, I loved zines back in the 70s. Chris is a bit younger than us, but John, did you make your own zines in the 70s?
I did not make my own zines, but I certainly admired them. And much like you, I am glad they're back. And one of the great shows in Chicago that, unfortunately, of course, isn't happening this year is Cake. That always happens in June, and that's a terrific zine show and a great breaking through artist show. So I do love going there, and I just kind of quietly slip through the aisles and check out the new people and what they're doing. It's great.
I think we need to do John Con zine next year. Chris, what do you think? Do you think we can get people together?
Yeah.
Well, this is great because you take one piece of paper and you show how to fold it and the right pages, the right page count and everything to be able to make this and have your story make sense and everything. So that's great.
Oh no, listen, 270 pages. You are going to be a pro at so many things, John, after you make it through this collection. Even scrolling up next, this is one of my favorite pieces. It's by Georgie Berriman. And not only does Georgie have an inventive style here, I love their cartooning. I love the fact that you can just print this out and color. It'll be okay. Let's face it, especially at the beginning of the pandemic, like we didn't know what the hell was going on and where we'd be in 3 months. But John, there's some good news on the horizon, and I'll let Chris, in case she already spilled the news, we're really working hard to try to make Insider Art a print edition.
That's excellent.
Mm-hmm.
This is even before the pandemic, this to me feels like a rainy day book.
Oh, yeah.
And really, when kids are stuck in the house, and there's so many great crafts and really fun things to do with the kid. So I think that's I hope so. I mean, it's great. It looks fantastic on your tablet, but it would be great. And obviously teasing us with the spiral edition that you were holding up earlier, Shell. I think that's a great idea.
And like you said, rainy day activities. Also, when kids are sick, to have a chapter you can go through. I mean, it makes being sick and staying at home that much easier, right? Or you can take it to camp, John. And again,
yes, indeed, you would know. You would know.
I would know. Take your tap shoes and your Insider Art to camp, and you're set for the summer, even if they pick on you. And sometimes they do.
Oh, Shell, you are no, I don't believe that. Honestly, your stature.
The memoir. You'll read the memoir. You'll see.
You're flinty, pal. You are like, I wouldn't mess with you. You'd scare the hell out of me. So I was asking Chris how she bonded with you, and truly in our conversations, as you well know, but the audience doesn't, that we both worked at our college radio stations. And so I'm like, yeah, we would have been friends. Shelley and I would have been friends, as much as we pick on each other. Maybe not. Exactly. Actually, I would not be cool enough to hang with Shelley.
I don't know. The hat, you blew it today with the dress code. Sorry.
I understand. But our mutual love for Paul Weller, come on.
Yeah, but you know where with Paul Weller, I go to 97. I don't follow you into the 21st century with Paul Weller, but that's going to be a lightning round for another time.
Indeed.
Or so you keep promising me.
It would be Shell. That'll be our September conversation. I have no doubt.
Chris,
so here's absolutely.
Chris has to understand that John keeps threatening to do a lightning round of Paul Weller, starting with the Jam and the Style Council and the Paul Weller Experience, his solo work.
John, well, I know that is your challenge, Shell. I come back with I would be more comfortable doing one-hit wonders of the new wave, a generation.
But why be comfortable, John? Why be comfortable?
Because I don't want to say I don't know. I have no idea. I mean, because I know a good share of Jam and Style Council songs in particular.
You are an encyclopedia of knowledge about comics, film, movies, television, garage rock. Indeed,
and that's why I stop at this one, because this is where you, China, and I really bonded. And I was a music DJ for several years of my radio career before switching to talk and sports. And I'm a massive oldies fan, and the history of garage rock, going back to the beginnings of rock and roll, and especially, again, I worked at an oldies station, so I would play Question Mark and the Mysterians, or the Swinging Medallions, or the Knickerbockers, one of those Beatles knockoff bands that did a song called Lies. You know it if you heard it on an oldies station. But that's kind of what this great poster is, which is a great timeline, and look at the history of garage rock. Absolutely.
And another massive shout out to China Clugston Flores, who is also a powerhouse cartoonist. And I know her Blue Monday work is going to be reissued again soon. She is just one of the best. And it's been a blast working with her. She not only generously donated her time to putting this print together. I mean, John, do you have it on your wall yet? We made
I have to get it framed. I mean, COVID and all, but it is sitting waiting for a frame.
It's huge.
It's gorgeous.
As John's dementia kicks in, he'll have this and he'll hold on to it. He can continue to win those lightning rounds on Jeopardy. But China not only did this wonderful 2-page spread, she also did a terrific cat, which I'm going to hold up because the cat really was our house cat. He's a classic tuxedo cat. And I decided
I'll get out of this and there we go. Thank you.
Cat on the title page.
Bring a little, there she is. Okay.
There we go.
Can we see? Is that good?
Yep.
So basically, China's cat led the pack. And lots of the other artists would sneak in shots of the house cat into their stories, which is why we have a challenge to anyone who's willing to count the cats. We want to know how many there are. There are differing numbers. So it would be a lot of fun if people went to our website at insiderart.net. Let us know what they think and how many cats they've counted.
You'll die when you check out this poster and see all the different bands that are mentioned. And then I love this part at the bottom as well. If you want your own garage band, you're going to need musicians, Buzzbox, your bandmate's garage, of course, an amplifier, natty hairdo, and fab hair.
And then, John, if I'm not mistaken, you had asked me in the conversation we had with China, you had asked if I could make you a pair of those boots that say Fab on.
If you would, I would be thrilled to wear them, and I would show you a picture. All right, there you go.
I'm a little busy this summer. I've had to wash my hair a few times, but as soon as they're ready, I might even put taps on the bottom of them so you can tap dance in them.
Outstanding. Fantastic. Have you ever heard, there was the movie Kinky Boots, but did you ever hear that song that Patrick McNee kind of speaks? And I think it was made during the old Avengers 60s TV show about the spies, not the superheroes.
You would think, but the answer is negative.
Really? Shocking.
Sorry.
Well, Philip was cracking me up. You're a fine husband when you were ratting about on his music choices, but what you call folk music, it's like that's not folk music. Come on.
Hey, we can't go there. We can't bring Philip into this right now. It's just not fair.
Philip's awesome. He was cracking me up during John Cut. It was great.
Funny, right? For a shy guy, he's really funny.
Absolutely. Good
Actually,
Lord.
Chris, if you want to talk a little bit about the garage section?
Yeah, please, Chris.
I mean, it's your section, Shelley.
I know, but I've been talking too much, and I want to hear
I'm
what
sorry,
you thought
Chris,
of the garage section.
We're all the way at the end. Actually, no, the garage section is pretty special because you actually have a professional skateboarder, right? That did some story.
Yes. In addition to two professional skateboarders, there's also we have real musicians who contributed as well.
Yes.
But I'll talk about the professional skateboarders first. We have Cindy Whitehead, who some of you may know as just a powerhouse social disruptor, one of the few women who was inducted into the Skateboarding Hall of Fame, and she had her introduction by Joan Jett, which I still think is the coolest thing in the world.
Yeah.
But she was like a major skateboarder and one of the first female skateboarders to have a spread in like a skateboarding magazine. I can't remember if it's Thrasher, but one of the really popular magazines back in the 70s. Chris, you were too young, but John and I were like trying really hard to skateboard in our neighborhoods. And I had like, one of those big wooden boards with like the tiny silver wheels that like, they wouldn't even go over the cracks. You would just fall off.
Oh yeah.
And then the plastic penny boards I tried, but Cindy is the real deal. She wrote a story for another skateboarder to illustrate. And this is so cool. A young girl who is 12, I should say a young woman who's 12, named Lola the Illustrator, is not only one of the skateboarders for Cindy's collective called Girl Is Not a Four-Letter Word. She's also one of the artists, a graffiti artist for the Bushwick Collective.
Wow.
So when you look at her art and I tell you she's 12, you can't believe your eyes. She is really, I think the next Keith Haring of New York. She is just so good and so smart and so cool and professional. I mean, everybody on this book delivered in a timely fashion, but Lola, she blew everyone away. She not only did her story in record time, and it was, I think, 4 pages. It was a long one.
Is it in the collection of pages you gave me, Shell, or no?
It's not in the PDF I gave you, but I'm going to actually pull up a bit of it because it's just so good. You have to see it.
Yeah, we really want to see it now that you've talked about it. Absolutely.
Yeah, here it is. How's that?
Wow. Good Lord. She's a great artist.
She's a great artist. I mean,
fantastic.
And to be that good at 12, you can just only imagine how she's going to be at 16.
Exactly.
She's serious about it. And she's a doll. She's a terrific person. So it's the second time I've worked with her, and I can't wait to work with her again and to kind of follow her career path.
Shell, as you know, the people like Jim Shooter that started at like 13 and writing great comic books, and Jerry Conway was really young when he started. So it's about time we get a woman that started when she absolutely. So that's great. I look forward to the evolution of her work. That's wonderful.
Yeah, she's terrific. Wow, definitely keep an eye on her.
Outstanding.
The other team I wanted to mention is we have the bass player of the band The Wedding Present, who is not only a terrific writer, but she teaches yoga. Talk about multifaceted. Her name is Terry DeCastro, and she did this wonderful page on how to write industrial music and record it in your garage. And it's a wonderful one-pager illustrated by Carrie McNinch, who she brought in, whose work I didn't know, but it's terrific. So one of the best things about this book is seeing what everyone else brought in, because I always play favorites. And it gave me the opportunity to work with some of my other favorites in comics. I'm going to show you this game board.
Yes, I love the game board. Yes.
Right? So I reached out to Vita Ayala, who is also one of my favorite writers in comics today. And she's just a terrific person. They're just a terrific person. And
Yes.
they pitched me a game board. And I thought, that's amazing. We didn't have something like that. And to make it legit, you can go to our website, you can download the board and also the pieces. Now, the board was drawn by Sally Canarino, who is also a wonderful artist who's based in New Jersey. She's also a part Philly girl. We have a lot in common. She lived in Philadelphia like I did for a while.
Yeah.
And the colorist on this is Gab Contreras, who contributed quite a few coloring pages in the book. So thank you to Gab for not just doing one project, but doing multiple projects. That really meant a lot.
Were you on Shell on John Con when Vita was on? Because
I
she
was
was.
not.
I was going to say I didn't think the two of you were on at the same. Pardon me, that all of you were on at the same time. But they're great, and I look forward to a conversation with them in a few weeks or so. But no, terrific stories was blowing me away. So yeah, I'm glad she was part of John Con, and I didn't put two and two together that they did the game. That's terrific.
Yeah, they're a major gamer, both Sally and Vita. I'm not sure about Gab, but I know that the two of them are serious tabletop gamers. So yeah, I felt like that was the final element we needed to have a really balanced compendium.
Agreed. No, it's a tremendous book, and again, a donation of $10 at Crunchyroll, correct?
Gumroad.
I'm sorry. Say it again.
Yes, and
Gumroad.
Gumroad, yes.
Gumroad. There we go.
Gumroad.
Yeah.
Gumroad.com/insider art. That's where you go, and it's a wonderful cause as well. So yeah, I mean, what can I say? Honestly, it's been really a pleasure talking about this book and making people aware of it the last few months. And no, Shell, seriously, and the same thing with the 9 panel grid.
okay, amateur.
Okay, amateur, absolutely.
Yeah,
and that's a great artistic challenge, and that's truly. I mean, beyond your eye for interesting stories and putting together young and old creators as you did at Black Crown in particular. That's what Chris and I were talking about.
And music, right?
Yeah, hell yeah, absolutely.
Art and alchemy, comics and chaos. John, I feel like my dad is like flooding your bank account. You're always so kind to me. Thank you so much. I really appreciate all the support, the enthusiasm.
Buddy, like I said, I appreciate your eye, and I thank you for who's that?
I had when I was experiencing technical difficulties, I was crying into my Joe Strummer pillow, and I had to bring it to show that the other Clash fan. This is just to say props to anyone who follows my musical taste. Do not follow my husband's. Mine.
Sorry, me and Philip will be sitting listening to our Rod McEwen albums and sighing. It's all right. That's fine. That's all right. He's a good man. So, Chris, any other projects, Chris, that you can tell us about as far as what we should look for on the racks?
We're not going to divulge anything yet, but we will say to keep an eye out for the Insider Art Kickstarter that will be launching soon, because that'll be kind of, a gateway to maybe doing some more projects together. Right, Shelley?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the great thing about Kickstarter is that this will give us a chance to not only continue to get this book into the hands of people who may have missed it, even though it's available digitally. But the thing that's so great about Kickstarter is we'll be able to actually pay the contributors a little something. Yes. They were all so generous, and it's hard working for free. We all donated our time, but everybody's got to make a living, especially now. It's a pretty weird environment. So if you can, just keep your eyes peeled. And even if you can't back us on Kickstarter, please just maybe share the information, or even on Gumroad. One thing that's really interesting is on Gumroad, you can actually buy a digital copy for someone else. So I know some people have gifted it for their friends' kids, or for their nieces and nephews, or their grandma. John, you never know who might enjoy this. So
no, actually, now that you mention it, that's a great idea, and I think maybe to gift a couple of my younger cousins who have children and stuff. I think that would be very nice. That's terrific. They're the right age.
And I also think that it's really fair to say, like, in the age that we're living in, where there's so much uncertainty in the world, this is a way to be kind. And I just want to stress that again. I mean, it was something that I wanted to do because I felt helpless, and it really helped me channel my own anxiety about what was going on in the world. When I reached out on the Facebook Comic Book Women's group, there were a number of people like Chris who immediately just signed on board, and she has a day job. A lot of other people just have been working straight through. And so I'm glad to be able to thank everyone yet again, anyone who's donated, who's picked up Insider Art on Gumroad, who has maybe purchased something on the eBay channel, who has just shared our information. We also have Twitter account that Mariah handles at Project Insider. We've got an Instagram page. We've got a Facebook page. Anything you can do to help us spread the word. We really think this initiative is terrific and strong, and we want to boast about it because we want to continue to earn money for female and non-binary retailers. They were hit hard. We've got 28 of them who are getting money every other week, and we've only raised a little bit over $5,000. I know we can do better. So,
okay. Well, yeah.
My final note is, please help us support other people in comics who are not as visible.
Agreed. It's a very uncertain time right now with the market, and even when things normalize, God only knows what that's going to look like. So it is great. And again, Shell, this is the conversation that I've been having with creators. And Chris, have you found this time tough to work through, or has it, energized your creativity and you've been able to, obviously working with Shell on Insider Art, but other projects as well?
Yeah, it's been tough actually. Like I said, I have a day job, but I do a comic book for a video game company, so they haven't really been affected.
Okay.
But it's been tough just kind of motivating myself to get through everything, and every day log on to Zoom, multiple Zoom calls, and try to be creative when everything is going on around you that's just bringing you down. It's tough. It really is. And so struggling through it, but I have to say, Project Insider was like a light, that came in. And it was something fun to do. It was, it brought people together and everyone worked in harmony, and it was just a beautiful thing to be a part of. So it really was beneficial to me.
And now she has a crush on Joe Strummer.
Who can blame her?
Not.
Well, the other thing that must be said, when I announced the project, I said that under no uncertain terms that I have to have the garage because I wanted a garage band. And it was specifically because of Garage Land, because of Joe Strummer and what Strummer represents. Because seriously, he doesn't take any shit and he gets things done. And I think he's one of the best frontmen.
I'm with you.
Right, Chris?
I'm with you.
That's right.
Chris knows she'll be fired if she doesn't agree. So Strummer forever. Insider Art on Gumroad.
Gumroad.com/Insider Art. Absolutely. That's the place to buy it. It's a great book for a great cause. Absolutely. Chris, honestly, a pleasure meeting you. And hope we have another conversation down the road. Yeah. And I'll see you in the words of the Happenings, a terrible band that you would absolutely hate from the 60s. I will see you in September, Shelley Bond.
See you then. Lightning round.
Yeah, hell yes. Absolutely. Well, bring it, lady. Yeah. Absolutely. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you.
And everybody take care. Make sure you come back for tomorrow. It's going to be a great day Sunday. More great panels from Mainframe Comic-Con. Thank you for joining us today in this panel and others as well. And another full lineup tomorrow. 8 hours of a lot of online convention fun from Mainframe Comic-Con. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Have a great night. Take care. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.